we have to introduce the activity to you. Do you have any hunch? We will introduce our activity to you. And then we will take our activities and we will request you to do the same.
Sure.
Very good morning. Namaste to all guys.
Namaste. Namaste.
So, how many of you know what this ISC constituted in Nepal? Can anyone tell me what was ISC about?
International School Award.
International School Award. Perfectly yes. So under that GPS global, it signifies and we take a motive to learning which all the young minds can be introduced to the outcomes and to the causes of the greenhouse effect in the whole world. So to educate young minds in we from the DPS Gopal, we present them anyone, sorry, type of that in our school premises to educate young minds and acknowledge them about the causes and the after cause of the event of the greenhouse effect in the global warming. As a part of the IC activity, we from DPS Gopal created a sign and a match which showed a gap in the overall temperature and causes at which the and so finally, we have a report from Canada which states that earlier the amount of carbon dioxide and the primary carbon in the atmosphere was about 0.04%. But in gradual increase in 2018, we have it risen to an amount of 28%. Fairly big reason to worry, right? Next, a report for Philippines showed that the amount of water in the coastal areas was earlier 21% and about 380, but in 2018 it has risen to a level of 1,000 feet and an amount of 78%. That is fairly a big reason. So I would like to hand over my talent to my friend who will conduct the work.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am Hima Mehta and I will introduce you about a talk which we organized in our school to introduce the students about the rising sea levels and the climate action. Dr. Arvind Desai, a member of research committee ISRO, was invited to our school to address the students of class 9 as a part of their IS activity. This topic which he included was greenhouse effect, global concerns, greenhouse effect, and problems faced by different countries due to global warming. He mentioned that if there is 4-degree rise in the overall temperature of the Earth, one-third of the Bangladesh would be submerged, and huge food scarcities will occur all over the world. He also mentioned that if it increases by 5 degrees Celsius or more, then huge epidemics will occur and uh, uh, people will die in large mass due to starvation. He also mentioned that if World War III occurs, countries would be fighting with each other for water. Later, he stated the countries, these cities which are in grave danger due to rising sea level. Among the first is China, and the second is India. In China, Shanghai, and in India, Mumbai and Kolkata are in huge danger due to rising sea level. The session was concluded by Ms. Tulika Saha by talking on climate action and sustainable change. Thank you.
Good morning, I am Reni Bhatt. Students really enjoyed the talk and they were aware of the rising sea level and climate action. The students were also asked to write down a report on the same talk and submit it to their respective English tutors. The best ones were displayed in the ISA exhibition. Through this, the students introduced the topic of report writing and they learned how to write a report on a particular event. Thank you.
warm welcome my friends of Nepal. I'm going to talk about my experience of the ISA. The ISA was a very great initiative, and it helped my school give an initiative, bringing it up to the schools. So, in the present day, we are talking about global warming, its consequences, like the rise in sea level. So, one of the options for preventing such a disastrous consequence is awareness. Awareness can prove very effectful if it is done in the right way. So, awareness in school, the ISA activities that the students had done, they proved to be very effective. The response of the students was very great. The number of volunteers and the number of participants was very good. Also, the audience was even better. Students were actually interested in the ISA activities like the model making, and they proved to be understanding, and we finally transferred a message to them about what we should do in the future. So, concluding what I'm saying right now, the ISA was a very good initiative taken up. Thank you.
Very good morning to everyone. Yesterday, delivered and I'm going to talk about the raising students. There used to be a time when all the biotic elements lived symbiotically. It has been more or less shattered in the release. If this continues, then our planet will be tagged as a last planet. And as the name says, it will be because of human nature or alien interference. So we should stop it. And to stop, Delhi School Open has conducted IS activities and modern cities. And now my friend Akshar will tell about causes because of.
Good morning. Hi, Akshay. I will tell you about the causes of anxiety season. Today, I will tell you how the causes occurs because of the unjudicial use of fossil fuels, which leads to the global warming. These things can cause the second. Humans are very selfish. We use fossil for our benefit. We never think about the Earth's Earth's thinking. So we and only we people had made the earth very poor, and pollution is lead by us. So by this process, I can tell you the effects of the rising sea level. This will lead to the very good extent of the fluoride product because it is expected that if the global warming is will increase, then the cities near the sea will be submerged too. So please, we have to take care of our earth by rising sea. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Under the ISA program, we are prepared paper bags using recycled paper, and we prepare the harmfulness of plastic as it takes 1,000 years to decompose. Uh, we gave them to the retailers and vendors at two different localities.
Morning, I'm Akshar, and the scientists warn us about the rising sea level. So, so let us actually study how this is happening. So you can see the smoke that is rising from the factories. This is the smoke that is coming out of the factory. They release greenhouse gases, which cause global warming. You can also see the some fires that are burning here. Same goes for the fires in our countries. Even they release carbon dioxide, which projects global warming. And what happened when all these heat affects the along, you can see the sea here. The glaciers in the sea they are melting. And when they melt, the sea level rises and they flood our coastal area. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm going to give you a brief description about match activity at school. I was attended by the school children on 15 October 2018, which is honored by Dr. Arvind Kesri. We talked about uh, the rising sea levels in different countries and also different problems. After that, the students were allotted 5 countries, which were Netherlands, Bangladesh, UK, Maldives, and coastal area of India, and were told to find out the rising sea levels in these countries. After these, data was collected and models were made. After the model making activity, the student appeared for an MCQ test in which they solved questions based on the data and the model making. So this was a brief description of our math activity. Thank you.
So the learning objective was of this project was we learned to collect data from the internet. Our teachers told us to collect data on the rise of sea levels on these 5 countries, and we actually learned how to use websites and the internet to collect this data. And this project also helped us to understand the topic of statistics, as we also revised the topics of and made several types of graphs like bar graphs and line graphs. So the learning objective was learning about the rising sea level and also learning about mathematics.
Now we request you to present your project.
Sure, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I, I am Vibhusha from Apex 5 School, and we all wanted to share some our views and thoughts to all of you. So during this past few months, we worked on this project, and we used our creativity and our skills. So we made models and different presentations during this past few months, and we also learned many different skills like collaboration, teamwork, and how to boost our confidence, and many other things. So we all know that this project is ready to go green, and we know that climate change is taking place rapidly all over the world, and it is affecting the nation and all the other countries, and some countries are also facing danger. For example, all those lowland islands are drowning because of climate change due to the heat pressure, which is melting all the glaciers and ice caps, which results in rising in sea level. So, if we talk about climate change, and there are many ways to stop it, but its effects are much more harmful than the solutions. Due to the heat pressure, glaciers are melting, and all those beautiful snow-capped mountains, they're only turning into rocks. The causes of climate change are overpopulation. Nowadays, the population is increasing day by day. More than earlier, there were like less people, but nowadays, when you see in the streets and on the shopping malls, centers, everywhere, you see so many people, and sometimes even I get shocked to see so many people walking around here and there. I wonder how so many people can fit in such a small country. So climate change can only be destroyed and can only be taken out of our Earth if we collaborate and work together, and if we use our minds and creativity to think about solutions about how we can overcome this challenge. So we made models also by recycling things. So now I'd like to call my friend to share our visit to related to this climate change. Kanishka Khatara from grade 6B, here to share my experience about a visit to Doku Recycle. So as our project Go Green, we had to visit to two fields, Bagmati wastewater treatment and Doku Recycle. So Doku Recycle is such an NGO that works for collecting waste management. It plays very important role in in collecting our waste. So we went there, and first what they do is they collect the garbage and they separate the types of garbage. The types of garbage are e-waste, papers, plastics, cans, and metals. So they even taught us about upcycling and downcycling. Upcycling means those goods which can not be recycled but can be reused using our own creativity. And downcycling means those goods which can be recycled and reused, but the quality goes down if we use it a number of times. So they made us aware about the effects of climate change due to pollution, and told us to avoid the uses of plastic straws because it takes at least 1,000 years to get melted. So by saying this, I'd like to end my conversation. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Yoshua, and uh, we for this project we went on a visit to the water recycling plant, which is near Pasupati temple. And in that plant, the water is treated in two ways. First, two steps. In the first step, the water is taken from the river. The water is taken from the river, and the waste particles such as dead plants and animals, plastics, papers are taken out. Then the water is flowed to the reservoir, where it is agitated violently, and oxygen is put in. And then the water flows in the plant, and it stays still there for 24 hours, and then it is again let out into the river. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Nikita from Apex Life School, and we, for our ISA projects, we all were told to make different type of models out of plastics and cardboards and many other wastes which were not used anymore. So I made a small Christmas tree which was made out of about 8 bottles, plastic bottles. I made the base with the caps of these bottles. I added cement in them to make them still. I used an old wooden rod, old wooden stick, and covered it with newspaper to make the stand. And in my sister's old crown, the top part was broken, so I attached it as a star on the top. And this is the model of my Christmas tree.
So good morning, everyone. I am Panisha Malar of grade 7A, and today I am here to explain how I made this temple. You can. So the main material used to make this temple is mostly cardboard. So for the base, I have used cardboard cut in a different shape, like semicircle. Then you have to cut like square shaped out of the cardboard, the top part and the bottom. And for the back, you have to make the cardboard like all together joined. For this top part, which we say gadzur in Nepali, I have used an egg scrape, cut it into the shape, and then you get this thing which you can paint into the color and then paste it. For this design thing, You have to take a cardboard and remove the upper layer of the cardboard where you get these type of like designed cardboards. You can cut and color them and then paste it at the sides, as you can see. This decorated ribbon thing, you can use like ribbon, like of school ribbon or anything, and then make it in like the design you want. After that, for the doors or windows, you again have to use cardboard and then cut it in the shape you want and then paste it. Then for this like thing, you have to take the sequins and attach them in the ribbon, as you can see. So this temple is like the temple of Lord Ganesh. So you can even like keep an idol of Ganesh inside the temple. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So today it's Miss Siddhi from Apex Life School here to share some information related to upcycling. Upcycling is one of the useful way to go green. So I'd like to begin with my sharing. So this was a green wine bottle, which was useless, but we turned it into a flower vase using different materials. So what we did was we wrapped some woolen threads around it, stick some papers and glitter tapes on it. We made some paper flowers and kept it inside the wine bottle and we decorated it. So this was how we made this flower vase. It is very simple and easy. As in Nepal, bottles are not recycled, so those wasted bottles are upcycled. This project has given us information about many things, and this is environment friendly, and this has made us aware about creative skills and environment.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jagriti Panthi here to talk about rainwater harvest. The first thing that might pop in your mind after you hear about rainwater harvesting might be, what is rainwater harvesting? So basically, the technique or strategy used to save rainwater for future use is known as rainwater harvesting. In this model, we have used wood for the platform, old cardboard for the home. Rainwater harvesting is mostly done in rooftops. We have attached a small pipe here. The pipe is the main place where the water gets collected. When it rains, the water gets collected here and passes it on to the reservoir. In large rainwater harvesting centers, there are collection taps and suction taps. Basically, the large rainwater harvesting systems work when water gets collected in the pipe and is transferred to a tank. Then a suction tank filters the water and passes it on to the collection tank. Then the collection tank passes it on to the reservoir and the water can be used for future use. At last, I would like to tell everyone not to waste water and to make proper use of it. Thank you.
Hello again, it's me, and now I wanted to talk about this model, which is known as Tarara. So Nepal has many historical monuments, and each one is unique. So this model, it is made out of recycled objects, and now I'd like to tell you how we made this model. First, we use this cardboard pipe to make the structure of this model. We also needed styrofoam to make the balcony of the model. So first, you need to take the cardboard pipe and paint it white. Then you need to take a styrofoam and cut out the appropriate size for the model. Then after that, you need to let the paint dry for a while. And then you need some tissue paper so that you can mark the levels of this model. As you can see over here, I don't know if you can, but I rolled tissue papers and kept it here so that you can mark all the levels. Then to make the balcony, I used toothpicks and colored it in black color and then stuck it in the styrofoam.
Then I took modeling clay and kept it around the toothpick so that it could make it will look like bars. And to make the top part of this model, you need a spherical structure of anything you like, and you need to join it over here so that it will look like the model with a spherical structure. Then for this top part, we use newspaper and like made out a cone shape out of it and stuck it in the top. So as a result, this model became like this. And so to make this model, we used our creativity at its best, and it was very fun to make this model too. Thank you.
Morning everyone, I'm Kabir and for this project I made a model of and to make this I use cardboard, tissues, wood dust and papers. At first for the base I used these cardboards and afterwards I made a ball out of a paper and I stuck it there and after it was done I covered it with tissues and glue and when it was dried I painted it and after it was dried I used some wood dust and colored it in green and for this grass yeah I used that.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm Apurva Sainzu, here to share my model of a pencil holder, and it is designed. I used newspaper and glue to make it. I rolled the newspaper into pieces and stick it to make a whole cycle. And this is a very good way of reusing newspaper. Thank you.
Hello, Tulika ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I hope we have come to the end of this sharing conversation. And as part of your activity, our students, they did make paper bags and they distributed in their nearby shops and all.
All right. Yeah, we have also, on our part, we have cooperated on making of the models for rising sea level, as well as for making paper bags. That was part of our project to be appreciated. Uh, Thank you so much for collaborating. This is a wonderful collaboration.
Thank you, ma'am.
You cooperate with Kanchan, right? You Miss Kanchan? Yes. Uh, Thank you for cooperating.
Same here. We are glad to have such kind of collaborative session. And in the days to go, also we look forward for such kind of interactive session with you people. Thank you, ma'am.
We actually would request you next time to be part of our exhibition.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much.